A lot of people had their opinions on the referee and how he was last night. What was your thoughts on the ref?
Honestly, he was pissing me off. Honestly, that's kind of the reason I was getting frustrated because I'm like, some of this shit is blatant. Like you can blatantly see it. I was getting collar tied and stiff armed, and it was pissing me off because the ref was on the side that it was happening on sometimes. So I don't know if you guys can see, but a couple times I just didn't even try to wrestle. I just lift my arms and looking at the ref. I'm like, come on now, I'm sitting here complaining about this. You're not saying nothing. And then you like watching them do it. And when I do say something, you say you don't see it. But tell me that I'm getting grabbed because I'm slipping inside. That don't give him the right to grab me. He's supposed to bag up or reposition himself. So it was just, I let the ref kind of frustrate me and take me out my game plan. It was like I was fighting two people in there.
There were a couple of incidents that kind of occurred after. Obviously, one notable between yourself and Anthony Joshua after the fight. What was your take on actually what happened?
He said it was in the heat of passion, but we all fighters. So during the fight, yeah, I can understand. But after the fight, he was still trying to keep the tough shit up. Like I told him, like you don't know nothing about me. So, we exchanged a little bit of words, but I was actually on my way to his corner to shake their hands and stuff, and he turned around trying to be all macho and shit, so that's really kind of how it escalated, but it is what it is. It's boxing. We all be heated at wartime, so I don't take too much from him, but, we really could have got into that. Because, I ain't nothing soft over here. We really could have got into that without them gloves on. So, I'm just glad that it didn't turn into, it got prevented before all that concluded.
Those are the words of Jermaine Franklin as he first complained about the referee and the blatant things that occurred. And he talked about the near riot brawl with Anthony Joshua. And what I have to say about that, people, I'm a straight shooter. The referee, that was pathetic. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, the referee overlooked, like I said, the blind. He turned a blind eye, okay, to a lot of stuff Joshua was doing. Joshua was constantly holding. I know a lot of people in the comments said, hey, Jermaine Franklin was holding too, but not like Anthony Joshua. Joshua was holding, and, instead of grabbing, he could have been setting up shots to get Franklin out of there. Because if he knows Franklin has to come in to state his attack, he has to be in a certain position, being the shorter, smaller guy. The last thing you want to do is hold that guy. And that just reminds me of Vladimir Klitschko. And you know what? Speaking of Vlad, now I understand. And now I remember, rather, why I couldn't stand Vladimir Klitschko. I hated watching his fights. Because his fights were exactly like the fight we saw yesterday. You've seen a little speck of AJ in there. Okay, of old. But mostly now you see a tentative, overcautious AJ. He's not really the same fighter as we've seen. Now, we've seen him working on certain things, working on the inside and those things, but there wasn't enough of that. That wasn't like Errol Spence shit. So hopefully he can do more with Derek James, but no. I think with the referee allowing that to happen, that it was a disgrace, and it made the UK refs look bad. Just like the Texas ref Lawrence Cole looked bad over here, and you always hear me talk about that guy belongs in that same circle of referees. Kenny Bayless had a shitty refereeing the other week. Okay, so like a lot of these refs, man, they dictate how a fight goes. That fight should have been fought totally different if he would have been like, Joshua, you're holding, stop. If that would have been Tony Weeks would have said, hey, Joshua, you're holding too much, man. You're holding too much. Stop the holding. That would have stopped. And I think maybe a lot of people say, oh, he went 12 rounds at 255. He probably did that shit because he was worried about gassing out. See, people need to remember that. See, I think Joshua's he's not secure or assured of his stamina. He's not. I don't think he's ready. I don't think he's sure of his stamina and where it's at. Okay, so him saying, well, I don't know how much I was and I don't know how much I weighed. Well, shit, obviously so, because you didn't really, you should have been looking at that weight, because I think that weight has a lot to do with how well he is, how well he can move, how much stamina he has. You know, he was just a really big boy. And then compared to Jermaine Franklin, yeah, he looked a lot bigger, right? Now, as far as the brawl went, that was all AJ. You know, I mean, that was totally uncalled for. Totally. You know, and he's like, oh, it's a heat of passion and this, that, and the other. I don't think AJ knew how to turn the switch off. But then here's the thing. It's like, you're doing all this tough shit, but then like you're fighting like Vladimir Klitschko. So what Derek Chisora actually wanted from you, he didn't get. Nobody got. We got a Vladimir Klitschko impersonation. That's what we got. We got Vlad in 2012. That's what we got. We got a typical boring ass Vladimir Klitschko fight. Grab. Grab. Hold. Ref, where are you? Okay, good. Repeat the process. You know, so that's what we got. And then doing that tough guy shit, you know, it's like, okay, you're trying to overcompensate with attitude, but you should be trying to overcompensate with performance. And that's what I saw. I saw, you know, Joshua not doing what I feel he should do. But then he didn't look the same. He just, it's almost like you came in too big and you couldn't do what you normally do. Some of the punches were beautiful. Some of the punch placement was good. But overall, you know, the combinations even I saw him throw in the second Usyk fight was a lot better than this shit here. You know, but other than that, Jermaine Franklin, you got to take your hat off to the guy, because this kid is still calm. This kid is still cordial, you know, and it would seem like by this point, he's been to the UK, got shitted on pretty much the first fight, and the referee and AJ, you know, did a lot of things and disrespected him a lot of ways, but he's still the way he is. He's still remaining still. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Jermaine Franklin, stating that the referee pissed him off, and AJ, you know, that wasn't called for. He wished he could have got those gloves off and went knuckled up with AJ. That would have been real bad. But like he did say, though, he said, hey, that could have went a totally different way. And it really could have. I'm glad the trainers well, Derek James was still able to, like, hey, shove AJ away, because AJ was talking shit to the point where AJ's on some Mike shit. He is like on some Mike Tyson shit. But anyway, we'll talk about it in a live later today. Maybe I'll go about 2 or 3 o'clock after I get some lunch in me, so we can chop it up about AJ. But you guys tell me what you think about Jermaine Franklin's response to all this mess. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!